Chris record. All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. It's morning at my end, and I'm very sure it's afternoon at your end. So it's an amazing time here, and I'm privileged to have you meet with me for this particular press conference. So thank you for meeting with me, ma'am. And I don't know, is it okay if I call you Ma or I'll just call you Adana?
But in Nigeria that you are, you want to call me Ma, but
Yes.
it's all about our culture, Africa, representing our culture. It's okay, whatever it's comfort you are comfortable with, it's fine.
Awesome. Just a moment. Okay. So without further ado, let us go straight into the questions. So I have a couple of questions that I set here for you, and I just want to know what your thought process is and the vision and the whole idea behind Native Echo. It's quite an amazing thing that you have done so far. It's something that you're one of the first people to explore in this particular space. What I'm talking about culture tech. So now we have the fintech, financial technology. We have the edtech, which is educational technology. And now those ones are already big industries in their own. And now we're looking at culture tech, where we're integrating culture with technology. So this is one of the first of its kind that I am hearing of. Maybe there are before, but I haven't heard about it. So we're still early. You are still early in this space. So I'll just like to know, then the first question I'd like you to answer, the first thing I'd like to know is that was there any personal experience that influenced the creation of Native Echo?
Thank you very much. Yes, there was, and it's still fresh and still kind of ongoing because I'm still dealing with it. I have teenager and about to be an adult, about to be 18. So it all started, back when I was in Nigeria, I didn't know there was something like losing your culture or not knowing your culture. It all started when I relocated to America and there was this culture shock. And I noticed also for my kids, for them to kind of adapt into the new culture they were in. And I noticed that they were forcing themselves to like, belong, be part of the new culture or American culture, I would say, which is not bad, but I noticed that they were losing or they actually almost lost their culture. And that disturbed me because I know apart from just culture is not just about the language you speak or how you dress. It's all about even how you behave, how you cook, your cooking, everything about your culture, the history of your people and everything. So I noticed that because I was busy trying to make ends meet, do this, do that. I wasn't paying attention to things like that, and they totally lost it. And it started affecting them. It started affecting their behavior, their results, and so many things. So this was what actually the origin of what started before Native Eco, what started BYAN, Blazing Youngsters and Achievers Network. I was like, no, these young people need to be guided back or guided right. First of all, I started with writing a book and I called it Blazing Life Codes. And then I saw that the book, yeah, it made sense, but it didn't really go to the right people that I wanted it to go to. And then during the COVID 2020 COVID, 19 or so, I was like, no, let me use this opportunity that these children are staying at home and gather them. So we started doing Zoom calls, Zoom meetings. I had their parents get them online, and then we called it initially Blazing Young Stars Club, BYC. And then we started like that, teaching them etiquette, this and that, motivating them, inspiring them, helping them discover who they are. And that was still not enough because that was still like polishing. it was as if you were putting mold on something that was already, broken. So I was like, no, we have to go to the roots, which is your culture, your identity. So we decided to go for that. So back to your question, why did I venture into the tech? Because I found out that to actually approach, or right now everything is becoming technology, everything. You talk about health, you talk about finances, you talk about everything. So I was like, yeah, so the only way, especially now that the young children are even more exposed to the technology sometimes than us, is reaching out to them, or even to our the elders through technology. So that was what gave birth to this Native Echo Vision, Native Echo app. I was like, okay, why don't we reach out to them, go straight, get directly to them through what they love? Because, okay, for example, I know my kids, my son especially likes Roblox, he likes playing games. My daughter also likes, like, I was like, okay, since they're always on their phone, let me put it in their phone. Let's put this culture in their phone so that they can access it from their phone. They can access it from their laptop. They can access it from their tablets. Let it be right there. They don't have any excuse. Oh, I have to do this. It is there. It's an app. You can just click and log in and you are there. So that was what gave birth to Native Echo, like creating, bringing our culture to, you know, to the tech world.
Awesome. That is amazing. Thank you very much for that
Yeah.
well-detailed explanation. Which brings me to the next question right here. Do you think globalization and technology are, are accelerating cultural loss in today's world?
Yes, I think so. And if I might say it is, if I think so, because one, like I gave you an example, what made me to go, put Native Echo in the app. It is easy. It is so, it's grabs your attention. It is, even personally as an adult, um, I um I find myself lost. I find myself trying to control my use of, technology most times or whatever. So, because of what they put out there, right? It influences a lot of people, both negatively and positively. So most of what is put out there is not portraying our culture, is not preserving our culture, is not speaking our culture. So this is why a lot of that is why a lot of young people growing up, um, for example, one of the things that it really, really was the foundation of the need. I was speaking to one of my friends when I speak to several of my friends, Nigerians here, and they talk about, oh, I want my son, my daughter, this, they do, I'm going to send them back to Nigeria. They need to go and learn their culture. Look at how they're talking to me, this and that. And then I noticed that when I'm close to my kids, I listen to what they watch. They're listening to all these songs, all these, play, or even when they're playing the games, like my son was like, oh, they're swearing, and you see, before you know it, they don't even know it's wrong. They don't even know what they're doing is wrong, because that's what they do every day. That's what they see every day. That's what they have access to. So, and these people are intentionally or unintentionally putting this in their head, and because it is very addictive, and they sell it to them, and they buy these kids, um not knowing, ignorantly buy it, and before you know it, they've lost. And to them, like sometimes when I'm telling my daughter, you don't, you're a girl, you are supposed to feel like, no. I'm like, yeah, that's your culture. This is so, because to her, what she thinks, she says I'm feminist, this and that. They start putting names to these things and make it look like our culture does not, have weight, does not carry weight. I don't even know how to put this, but it's not valued, right? So making it look like our culture is wrong, and this, with time, they've lost it. And that is why President Eco has to get on track and work on getting these young people to
Back
know their
to their
culture,
culture. Yes, to
yes.
get them
And
back to
again,
their culture.
yes, again, um the the elders, I mean, like I said, uh the parents were so busy. If you leave it to the people like before growing up, right? We had uncles, aunties around, but now everybody is busy. So that is the isolation, the loneliness, you see a child growing up at the age of 2 years old is already carrying a laptop. I mean, sorry, an iPad, a phone, and it's already there because the mom, okay, give her the iPad. Let me just concentrate and work. Let me do this because and so from there, how will a 2 year old, 3 year old? I'm happy. I was talking to all of my friends. She was like, no, she would not make that mistake. I was like, yes, because it's easy. I don't blame them. I've been there, but it's easier for you to put this laptop on their face and get on doing what you're doing, but also the harm it's causing. So the isolation from I'm not having elders, not having parents, not having the influence, the right influence around you is one of the reasons why this the globalization has really affected our culture.
Awesome, awesome. So, which brings me back to this question because while you were talking, I sense that you have already seen the disconnection between the new generation and their culture. So, how serious do you think this issue really is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least and 10 being the most?
Oh, 10, if you ask me, maybe nine. Yeah, 10. Okay, because I would say nine, because thank God, I've also noticed that some people like me have started trying to do something about this, but then the measures I would say they're taking, so it's still not okay. For example, I told you that one or two friends decided they should take back their kids back to Nigeria to do learn, their culture, right? Which is good, okay? But I personally, I don't know if I'll say I'm scared, but I prefer I like to do things myself. So I prefer to train my child myself, or so to answer your question, it's really there's really a that disconnection, and it's probably like I said because of people being busy, and also because of the what we have now. We have Gen Z and we have millennia, and this there's this definition of what this generation is and what that generation is, and the Gen Z think that their generation think that they know better, and that's idea that they think they know better makes it even worse, because even when you're trying to impact this knowledge in them. So the problem, I would say, started from childhood, like as early as 5 years old, as early as when that child can speak. For example, I learned my language as early as I could, I don't, if someone asks me, how did you learn your language? I don't know. I know I grew up speaking Igbo. I'm from Imo State. So I know I grew up speaking Igbo. And also, I don't even know how I learned English, but I know I grew up speaking both of them. So you can't come to me, and I grew up learning, seeing my parents or doing so many things, greeting, good morning, doing, wearing these traditional attires and making this type of food. So it's not something you grew people in the diaspora, or something you just decide to, all of a sudden at 12 years old you want to start teaching a child how to dress in the African way. It's going to be very difficult, unlike how if the child grew up learning this tradition. So yeah, the seriousness is that the elders are not available. And even when they're available, these Gen Zs are thinking, sorry, I'm not going to define them. I refuse to do that. This generation, this generation are thinking that, oh, okay, you can't just break it, you can't just force us to do this, okay? But generation in quote have suffered so many negative consequences due to losing their culture and losing their identity. For example, suicide that is rampant in our generation, in this generation right now, or even in this time right now, is due to lack of identity, lack of culture. Because even some culture, especially my own culture, believe that killing yourself, we grew up knowing that doing some harmful things to yourself is a taboo, or it's is an is bad, right? So knowing all those things, like those informations, help to mold you. Other consequences, like even um um taking working, like being productive. Like most cultures, especially from the country I come from, these things are imbibed. You grow up knowing that my mom works hard, my dad works hard, and I have to work hard. Like everybody, it's just like a culture thing. There are proverbs that they tell you every day, this and that. And I don't you would know that you like there's this one they say in my culture, come and garuma dolly wa won dolly dolly. It means instead of me to die, I will keep struggling because this world, it's you survive, is the survival of the fittest. So it's those kind of proverbs that these children don't know. I don't know if they still teach them stuff like that, but this is the seriousness, how negatively it has affected our this generation. Because um the culture and identity is part of the things that molds you to become who you are or you should be. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everything you have said so far. It's just, painting a clearer picture on what Native Echo is all about. Now, speaking about Native Echo, let's dive into the whole application, the whole idea of Native Echo. Let's talk about Native Echo itself. So, for someone hearing about Native Echo for the first time, never heard about it, never heard about culture tech before, how would you describe Native Echo?
Okay. First of all, I'll describe Native Echo as a digital global village. That was the idea I had, and we kept, you know, brainstorming, strategizing to put it in there. What was in our head, or my head, when we were creating, developing the app, was, since some young people cannot visit their villages, right? Like, for example, myself, I've not gone to my village for, I don't know, almost 10 years now. And I was like, okay, how do I gather, imagine, or have me in my village and have that kind of scenario around me? People speaking my language, people dressing, seeing people that dress like me, seeing people that showing the kind of food I eat, seeing people talking about my history, so that's the scenario I painted. I was like, okay, we can have this digitally, we can have this in an app, we can have a cultural village, an African cultural hub. And if we have it digitally, we can actually replicate it physically. So now the app has language learning, it has culture, it's teaching people how to learn different languages. We're not just talking about one particular African. For now, because I'm from Nigeria, it looks like we're concentrating in Nigeria, which is fine. We start from somewhere and we, migrate, right? So we have, if right from there in Nigeria, we have different languages and cultures in Nigeria. We have Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. We try to like make it possible that if you desire, oh, okay, I'm from Yoruba, I want to know more about Yoruba. You have people that are in the app that are there, and they're sharing things with their language. And then we also have food. We have the arena where people share different types of food. I know these things can be shared in other apps, but the thing is having your our own traditional, having your a place where if you just go to it, like it has Igbo world, we have Yoruba world, we have Hausa. You go, it helps you. directs you um straight towards, where you want to go to. So it's just like driving straight to Imo State, driving straight to Igbo land. And when you get there, we're talking about digitally. You get there, you see people speaking Igbo, the feed. They're saying they will no Kyoto no day. And even they're trying to teach you. They have people that are ready to do live sessions. Like for example, we have live sessions. We have cultural um contributors. We call them cultural contributors because we know that we have the BYAN cultural contributors that are dedicating themselves to teach people this particular language. And you come like, okay, sometimes like I'm Igbo, I was married to a Yoruba, and I want to learn how to speak Yoruba. But sometimes learning these things literally, or it's not enough. You want to communicate with someone more often, and that way it sticks in your memory. The more you talk to someone, the more you see someone saying it. So this is what Native Echo app is all about. That's the language. We also the culture, we also have where we have teaching young people, like I said, as young as they can use an app. We have a game also in the app where this game is targeted on helping them, since these young people like competition, they like games. So we decided to put a game in the app where it teaches them how to their different language. If it's the Igbo, if they log in as an Igbo user, the game will be in Igbo. If they log in as a Yoruba, it will teach them both their languages, music, food, and all those things. So it's like we're trying to make it fun at the same time, very, very educative, empowering. We also have the Royal Connect because growing up, we know that we looked up to our elders to to show us example of how to be, to achieve success. So we have the Royal Connect where we have these elders that are we showcase what their achievements are, and we want them to how they can also communicate with these young people. And then we also have section like recently we're running the essay competition where we want these young people to be able to speak their mind. There's something we used to listen to growing up. They call it Speak Out. It was a youth program there, like that in BYC, Blazing Young Stars. We have a book, is on Amazon, where we asked young people to share their stories. We noticed that when you write these things, when you write your stories, it helps you to unburden. Even when you go for a therapy session, they will ask you to one of the coping techniques, write this, that, have a diary, blah, blah, blah. So this essay competition helps them to go back as they're trying to write this essay. They will ask questions. It will help them to ask questions about who they are, where they are from, the history of the place they're from, the history of their food, the history of their dressing, the history of, so many things that can help them to learn a lot about themselves and about their culture. And that way, so that is one of the so many things that we have in this app. Like I said, it is like your a community, your village, and you are able to interact. Also, in Royal Connect, you're able to find out and connect with people that's in the Royal Circle. We have Royal Connect. You'll be able to find out and connect with people that are wherever, anywhere in the world that are from your place that are doing what you really want to do. Like, for example, if you are in America and you want to go back for your wedding in Nigeria and you need a wedding planner, and in Royal Connect, you can just go there and search wedding planner in Nigeria and you see them. They have their reels, they have a video of what they do, and they have their Facebook or anything, WhatsApp, how you can connect to them. This is the native app is just the platform very available for them to connect with their diaspora brothers or sisters rendering those services. And yes, you don't need to go and start Googling or searching or going through Facebook, or calling, oh, do you know this person? Yeah, it's as simple as you do it yourself. Go there, type what you want, and it comes out for you.
Wow, wow, that is amazing. I mean, well, the kind of vision I have for Native Echo that have been painted by you is like Native Echo, the application and the whole idea is a very robust idea. You mentioned something like it's a digital village, a digital community, which takes me back to the year 2020, around 2020, 2021, when the pandemic was at the maximum level. And there was this digital kind of platform that came out. If you can remember, the name of the platform was Metaverse, you know, where people will interact with other people in the digital world. And there were some companies that were playing around with this idea in the sense that they wanted to make augmented reality and virtual reality glasses in order for people to interact with the digital world and with the real world. So now what you have painted is that Native Echo is a digital village, is a digital community where people can come. And if you look at what the community has, they have a place where people learn, that is a school. And I think you already mentioned that Native Echo teaches language and culture. So that checks out. Then they have the, you know, I also am from Nigeria. So, in Nigeria, the villages, they have a place where the kings and the royal people stay. And you mentioned Royal Connect and Royal Courts, and and also in the DJ. One thing I would like to ask, and I didn't really hear it from what you were trying to explain, is that in a community there's always a marketplace. So does Native Echo have that kind of place or platform where people can go to buy and sell things?
Actually, that's a good one. So many people that looked at the app mentioned that and they were like, "Oh, why don't you have a marketplace?" I was like, well, it's a step-by-step process. Let them assimilate the whole app thing. And really that is something that is in it's coming up, coming soon. Because we wanted them to like get used to connecting with each other, learning, interacting, and then boom, we'll put that in place actually because I was like, okay, yeah, this is a good thing. And then I was like, okay, first of all, connect with each other first, put out your market there. I mean, but then we will now gradually introduce that. Yes.
Amazing. So from what I'm hearing, it looks like it's something that's already in the works. So you
Yes,
already
it is.
have that checked.
Yes,
That's amazing.
exactly. Exactly.
So, so I'd just like to ask this question. What experience do you want your users or the users of Native Echo to ask to have rather while using the platform? Like, what do you want them to feel? Like, for example, the kids when they pick up their devices and they go to the app, what kind of experience do you want them to have using the platform?
Okay, I just before we run out of time, let me quickly answer that. I want them to have a feel or I want them to be empowered with the informations that they get, the training, like we have the rooms where we have we are teaching the young people greetings, different music, history, storytelling. So I want them to be empowered. I want them to be entertained at the same time, because we have, the storytelling and all that. We have the music, them listening to their cultural music. I want them to be enlightened, like, oh wow. Like, I want them to have that wow experience, like, oh wow. Like there's some things I will say and explain to my daughter, and she'll be like, oh wow. I want them to have that when they know how powerful their culture is and how it can influence them positively. That is the kind of experience I want the young people. The elder people, we know we have teen and children. We divided the teen, children, and even adults. We want everybody to come to the app and have that wow experience and be empowered, even the older people. Because, like for example, me, like sometimes I listen to the Yoruba or Hausa language and be like, oh wow. Like there was there was one in the arena. I saw someone. like put an alligator in a feed. The person posted they were going to cook it and eat it. I was like, wow. So this culture eats alligator and all that. It's just like some Americans hearing that in a culture in Nigeria eats dog. They were like, wow, no, that's exposure. That's information is kind of, so that's what I want people to the feel I want people to have. I want it to empower them. I want it to entertain them, and also want it to enlighten them. Like they will like, oh wow, this is what this, and it also educate them, teaches them a lot about their culture or other cultures that they want to know. For example, you see intermarriages, like interracial marriages and all that. A white person, it's not just because there was a time I was like, no, it's not just for our African brothers. You have a lot of interracial marriages now. So when they get have access to Native Echo app and they married that you are married to a Nigerian woman and she's Igbo, and you go there, you see Nigerian, they can have access to learning how to speak that language so that way they are able to flow and communicate when they're going to see their in-laws. They will not go there and be standing like a robot. If they marry a Yoruba in-law, they will go and dobale and be like, yeah, and before the in-law will be like, oh wow, that's it. It's so interesting. It brings joy, it brings satisfaction, and it makes you feel to make them feel good. And yeah, the overall result is that they're better than what they were before they came to the app.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, Ma, everything you have said so far, pretty amazing stuff. I know, and I'm really, really expectant that this Native Echo is going to be the not just the first of its kind, but one of a kind amongst many other application technology and companies out there. And speaking about application technology and companies and its creation, I'd like to ask you, as someone who is a tech founder, what was the hardest part about turning culture into a digital product experience?
Yeah, well, one of the hardest part is it's it's just the whole it's trying to, like I said, it's culture is something that is really looked down on, especially even it's being replaced with a lot of things. So trying to look for a way to um make it appealing, number one, because I was like, oh, how do I really? Because I know how I struggle to make it to teach my kids our culture. So I was just thinking the most important, the one of the things I struggled with was how to make it appealing. Like that's how I came up with the game. I know how many games I tried to come up with, they were not appealing. Even myself, I was like, no, I won't play this game. No, I won't do this. And then at the same time, you still want it to be empower them. You still want that game to be educative. So, so I was just one of the things because somehow culture to the Gen Z and to this generation, that's why we're losing our culture because they think it's boring, they think it's ancient. Sometimes my children call me ancient mommy. I'm like, is it because I'm trying to teach them the culture? So it was one of the most, we're still having that problem because even like trying to make them write this essay. If we were to tell them to come and dance, to come and do something that is, like in vogue or whatever, they will be excited to do it. So yeah, it was the best way I could. The problem I had was the best way I could make it appealing, entertaining, and sought after by these young people. And somehow, and then also the best way to reach out to people to accept it, so, and also the best way to, because another thing I wanted to do was um you know because I wanted it to be like a cultural village and I wanted it to be diverse. Another difficulty I had was how do I make it is not so AI, artificial intelligence, because so many of the apps depend on artificial intelligence, and this is an app that requires human interaction because just reading something from the book is not enough. So that is why we brought in the Blazing Youngsters and the BYAN culture custodians. We needed people that will be there. And so one of the difficult things was to have these people, at least 5 or 10 people that will be at least online every day to attend to some questions or to be there dishing out these informations for these young people to, take. So these are the things that we were like, oh no, they have to be live interactions, they have to be live um, um, workshops, live seminars, live trainings, and all that. So yeah, but we're working on it. It's not as we want it, but we're making progress.
Yes, like my father used to tell me that nothing in life actually is that easy. You just have to power through it and you just have
Yes.
to keep on going. So, when we keep on going, then we'll achieve whatever vision or whatever goal that we have set for ourselves. That's pretty amazing
Exactly.
and quite inspirational right there. So
Yeah.
one thing I will also like to ask, something that you've mentioned quite a few times in this conversation is the Native Echo Essay Competition. Can you say one or two things about it?
Yes, so one thing that, like I said, is the power of storytelling, the power of speaking out. Like, for example, it happened to me directly. My son, when he came in here, like I said, they had that culture shock. It affected him a lot. He was bullied, both of them actually. And his own, how he was, my daughter is still struggling with it. My son survived it by writing accept his culture. He was able to accept his identity. So one of the things that this essay is going to do is by the time you are penning, even in the Bible, it says write the vision down. So it's when you are writing something, it helps you to like it's registered in your memory. So we that's why we're doing this essay challenge, this essay competition, so that we can encourage and inspire these young ones. By the time they are trying to write about their culture, write about who they are, write about their their identity, it's been ingrained in them. Is they're assimilating it, they're
I was even
accepting
making
it.
my own money. My
So
grandma
that
had given me a little money to start my own farm. It isn't as big as you think. I grew plantain and bananas, and I would go out and I would go out and sell them for money to buy food and other things. And we never had to worry about rent either, since the house we owned, my grandma built for us. We all
asked him in their school, they had an essay competition, and he wrote about his culture. He wrote about how his migration experience. My son then used to be, he was not doing well in school. Also, the period we started BYC. So when he started going through this culture and um identity discovery and everything, and he wrote it down. Do you know that this essay, when he was in junior high, this essay was the best. He he even wrote so many things about how he used to follow his grandma and go and sell banana in the market, this and that, how all that was able to shape him and mold him, this and that. So, and so writing down your experiences, writing down about your culture, it brought him to the limelight. He won that competition for the district, and he was given awards. Before you know it, everybody got to know his story. The district got to know his story, and because of that experience, he felt good about himself. It encouraged him, it inspired him, it motivated him to do more, to be, to shine more. And before you know it, all through from right from that, after winning that competition till right now, last weekend he graduated from high school. He has been on honor roll. He had a 4 point something GPA, and he got admission into the school, University of Illinois, Obama Champaign, to read the course that to study what he wants, architecture and business. That was the power of writing. It empowers these young people. So I decided to say, okay, no, if this worked, let me see how it's going to work for our young people. And again, I also noticed that it's essay competitions are no more being you know a thing now. I remember when I was growing up, we used to do a lot of essay competitions and we'll be like, oh, it was something that you want to be part of because you not apart from the prize, you want to be known as one of the intelligent people. So that kind of competition is no more here. And I want to see if we can bring it back so that these young people can get challenged, get motivated and inspired to be, to be the top, to be on the top, and not just only being influencers or whatever about dancing. It's not just about, I mean, we like to do dancing competition and singing competition, but let us see essay competition, science competitions, math competition, that will make them to you know, brainstorm and do some brain work. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that is quite an inspiration there. And that's actually very, very inspiring. I am already inspired. Maybe I should also go out there and start my own culture tech. All right. So for the last question, we've had an amazing time. Thank you so much for taking this interview with me. I'll just like in very few words, I'll just like to ask you this question. Where do you see Native Echo in the next 5 years?
Wow, that's a good one. I see Native Echo in the next 5 years as a global accepted app that both the young and the old are making use of it. I see millions of Africans downloading this app and using it to connect to each other. I see Native Echo as not just a digital app. I also see it as a physical hub. Like Native Echo will not just be digital, we will also have physical centers where people will come and they'll be part of their native, they'll see it both in tech and in reality. So in the next 5 years, we started with the app, we started digitally. That way it's in front of them. It's very easily accessible. And then we want people to think of, okay, I'm here, let me experience it. When they're talking of going on vacation, they're going to this native world where they have the African Global Village, and they go there. They will also see African stores, African food, people speaking their language, workshop trainings, they're meeting elders. And I also see competitions, more competitions, not just the essay competition. Native Eco is also thinking of doing family competitions that will help us to um, help families to challenge families to to discover their identity, their culture, and to also celebrate their culture. I see Native Eco celebrating culture icons. I see Native Eco also a platform where not just celebrating people, but empowering people um, financially, empowering people, Native Eco is empowering people, career-wise, professionally. So yeah, it's a big vision, but for now, we're just starting from the digital world and millions of people across the continents are interacting, are connecting, and they're excited that they can actually know a lot about their culture in just one app.
That is amazing, and I can't wait for all these things to be made possible. So, thank you so much, Mrs. Adana Debbie. Thank you so much for taking this interview. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
One thing I forgot to do at the beginning of this session is that I forgot to introduce the participant. So in case you're watching this, I am Henry Obada, and I am here talking to Mrs. Adana, who is the founder of Native Echo, and she's also the founder of the umbrella body or the governing body or the larger company, which is the Blazing Youngsters and Achievers Network. You can find this on Facebook. You can find our Instagram page. You just search for Native Echo or search for BYAN Connect. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you so much, Ma, for participating. Have a lovely day and see you next time.
Thank you so much for this wonderful time. Thank you. And yeah, everyone go there and download it. And our premiere is next week. So yeah, we will be back on the same space for the premiere of our app. Thank you.